I saw the news that Julia Reilly, the actress who played Claire Lynch in TNA in one of the worst storylines of all time, died back on April Fool's Day. But because she left wrestling behind and her time there was very brief, she had absolutely nothing to do with it after that angle. And you'll soon see why when I get into it. Because of that, nobody knew until this week. There was no age given for her, but I've seen people say she was 44 years old. She had to have been in her 30s or 40s, no older than that. I mean, very young. And her body was discovered at home after she failed to show up for a scheduled event. And early indications are that she died of natural causes. She was an actress playing Olive Oyl of Popeye fame at Universal Studios in Orlando when she was picked by TNA for a role on the show, since TNA taped at Universal at the time. And to give you the backstory on this, because I was covering TNA at the time of this dumb story, I was in the trenches every single week. AJ Styles and Dixie Carter, they had a secret. We didn't know what the big secret was, but whatever it was so bad that Dixie didn't even tell her husband Serge, to the point where Serge punched AJ on TV, thinking the two of them might have been having an affair. So then when they were about to do the big reveal, this woman comes out who we have never seen before, and she calls herself Claire Lynch. And here you thought, Becky Lynch was the most famous Lynch in wrestling, but oh no, Claire is the most infamous Lynch in all of wrestling. But this woman comes out fake crying to reveal that AJ and Dixie were not having an affair, and she is an addict. She was a junkie. She was trying to get clean, and she also had a drinking problem, and she had gone to Dixie and AJ for support. And the fans were so invested in her admission that I remember they started a "what" chant as she was talking. It's just, you know full well that someone's going to be reviewing whatever the current wrestling product looks like on a podcast in 2065, talking about how the fans were so invested, the fans started chanting "what." That fucking chant is going to outlive us all. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, they had been teasing for weeks that they had evidence of something horrible that AJ did. They were the ones who initially teased that maybe AJ and Dixie had an affair, and that's why AJ had all the success that he had in TNA, because he was sleeping with the boss. But the big twist from them came the following week when they brought this woman back out to reveal that she was carrying AJ's love child. Yes, she was pregnant with his crack baby, I guess. And AJ denied all of this, of course, only for her to produce photos of the two of them in bed together. But in those photos, AJ was out, like he had been drugged. So let me pause here for a second. They introduced this new character out of nowhere, who nobody has ever seen before, who is a pregnant drug addict claiming to be AJ's baby mama. And more importantly, the implication was that she date raped AJ Styles, because he was clearly out of it in those photos and he knew nothing about any of this. Okay, so now that you're all caught up, Daniels and Kazarian, they then threw this woman a baby shower, which included one gift, and this will forever live rent-free in my head. A baby doll dressed like a little mini AJ Styles, like hoodie and all. The phenomenal baby. Styles had seen enough. He challenged Daniels to a match, because that's how you settle things in wrestling, of course, right? We've seen child custody decided in matches, for crying out loud. So he makes the pitch for a match with some very important stipulations. If he wins, the pregnant crack addict must submit to a paternity test to prove that he was not the father of her child. But if Daniels wins, then AJ would accept that he was the father of her child. Nobody ever said that AJ Styles was the smartest kid in class. Okay, I mean, that's why he's willing to accept the possibility that the earth is flat. I mean, just ask Bryan Danielson, he'll tell you. So yes, it makes no fucking sense why he would pitch such a dumb stipulation, but this was TNA. Hardly the first dumb thing they did. So they have a match and AJ wins, and we never saw Claire Lynch again. Instead, they sent this other woman who we'd never seen before out to the ring on one show, claiming to be her lawyer, who read a prepared statement from Claire claiming that Daniels and Kazarian paid her to make up the entire thing. It was all blackmail. She wasn't even pregnant. Now, I should point out, this was right after Daniels claimed Claire was in the hospital having suffered a placental disruption. Is it placental disruption or placental abruption? I forget what it's called, but it's a real condition that pregnant women can suffer from. So you stay classy, TNA. But then the lawyer came out to claim the whole thing was made up. She admitted to adding sedatives to a cold beverage that AJ was drinking, which is what rendered him unconscious in those photos. And she was ready to take responsibility for her actions. So I guess in kayfabe, Claire Lynch went to jail for her crimes. I guess that's why she vanished. She may still be stuck in the Florida court system for all we know. So they aborted the storyline fairly quickly. I don't think Claire was even there for more than a few weeks, but the reason they did so, and the reason they sent her lawyer, quote unquote, out there to make a statement on her behalf is because Julia Reilly, the actress who played Claire Lynch, was being harassed nonstop by wrestling fans online. Hard to believe, I know, but she was being harassed nonstop by fans online, and she suddenly quit the promotion. And so this was their way of tying things up as quickly as possible. Because what happened is the fans online, they found out who she was, like her real name and everything, and they just bombed all of her accounts, her social media, her LinkedIn page, her YouTube channel, like all of it with just hateful messages about what a terrible actress she was and how ugly she was, and she's a crack whore, and all of this stuff, all of this terrible stuff. Like that's who she was in real life, and it wasn't just a dumb television character. She didn't have a contract with TNA, so I assume she was being paid per appearance. Imagine working this angle for free, just for the exposure on TV. She didn't want casting directors to see all of this garbage, so she panicked and she quit. She shut down all of her accounts. She never even listed wrestling on her resume of all the things that she had done because it was so embarrassing. She had no idea what they wanted her to even do when she agreed to the gig. They just told her, great, you're hired. When you're an actress, especially if you're one looking for work, the small details don't always matter. You're just looking for a job. You're looking to get paid. So she saw a listing for this, right? It was at Universal. She was already working there. And they said, yep, great, you're hired. They never actually told her what she would be doing. Had they done that, and had she known that, I can't say for sure that she would have turned it down, but maybe she wouldn't have signed up for it. I think she continued playing Olive Oil at Universal. It's possible she quit that too. For a time because fans were harassing her at the park. I don't remember. But for his part, AJ Styles has said in the years since then that it wasn't TNA that came up with the story. It was him. It was Daniels, and it was Kazarian, the three of them together. And he maintains that it could have been a great idea, that the original plan was for Claire Lynch to be Dixie's niece, not just a friend. But that she was actually part of the Carter family. Like later on, we had Dixie's nephew, EC3. So that was, according to him, the original pitch. And so this is why AJ wanted to help her. It was really to help TNA, you see, so that it wouldn't get out that Dixie's niece was a crack addict going to rehab, or I guess something to that effect. But he thought the story itself, it could have been great. Like you'd have everyone wondering, is AJ banging the niece? He says that's what he wanted everybody to think. I don't know if he's banging her or not, but man, she's smoking hot, so I wouldn't blame him if he is. But he said that she really had to be a smoking hot blonde to make it work. I love how he's basically saying like she was too ugly to make it work and it's all her fault. But you see, this is why, however bad the writing on these shows may sometimes get, letting the wrestlers have too much creative input into these things is sometimes far worse. So I'm sorry to hear that she passed away so young. I don't know. They said natural causes. You don't hear too many people in their 30s and 40s dying of natural causes. It's possible. You could drop dead from a freaking brain aneurysm. Anything's possible. So I don't know exactly what it was. And I guess they're not reporting it, but that's still very young. But she will always have her place in wrestling history, even if it is for all the wrong reasons.